that type of housing will serve everyone better. It will serve all stakeholders better, from the end user, from the people living in it, to people that own it, whether it's the end user or whether it's an investor that owns the property as a rental property. You'll have a much longer life cycle. You'll have less repair costs. You'll just have a better product that will last better and will perform better, will be more comfortable and more healthy for the long term.
Hello, hello. Ginny Bolling here with Pivotal REI, the real estate investing podcast. And today we have Aaron Yassin with us here. Aaron, you've been on before. Thank you for coming on
Yes,
again.
yes, yes. It's great to be back, Jenny. Thanks so
Yes,
much for inviting me to come back again.
yes. And you can report some great progress with the building you were working on before, right?
Yes, it's completed.
Yes, that's always good. And so why don't okay, let's give you a chance to give your background, who you are, and then tell us about the Josephine.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Jenny. My name is Aaron Yassin. With Hive Developers. I'm here in New York City, and I focus on two asset classes. I'm building ground up condominium development projects in the city, and also working on single family houses upstate New York in the Catskills. My background is I have a unique background coming into the real estate development space. I'm an artist and an architectural designer, which folds perfectly into, my thesis, which is design drives value. And I really spend a lot of time focusing on what the projects look like and how they're built so that we can build better buildings. We can build the buildings of tomorrow today with the tools that we have now.
And that, in fact, I think is your takeaway. Say it again.
That we can build the buildings of tomorrow today because we have the tools available to us now.
Very good. Yeah, that's an important message. It really is. And it seems like more and more the younger generations care about sustainability and they care about a lot of this stuff from what I see. And so I think it's going to be very interesting going forward as to how they as they start to even build their own homes, which we know is happening later in life, what they put into it. Are you getting a good glimpse of that at this point?
Well, I think one of the things that's important to keep in mind is that, when you build better, obviously I'm focused on, how the buildings look and feel and the quality of the kind of the aesthetics of the building and how they're visually designed. But when you also look at the envelope of the building and the mechanical systems and focus on the envelope, insulating it better, using better mechanical systems, you will end up with a better home, and a better home more comfortable and more healthy. So I hope that in general, there's not a lot of argument around whether or not you would like to be living in a house that is more comfortable and more healthy for you, because that's what you get if you really focus on how things are built, which is definitely what's possible. And on the flip side of it, I do understand that there have been typical means and methods of building for a very long time, and these are what people are familiar with and know how to do. So sometimes changing those things is challenging, but we can do it if we focus on it.
I agree completely. And there's so many things that people don't even necessarily think about or know about. What are the main things that you feel are important to talk about in that regard?
Well, if you look at the building envelope, I mean, there's these two factors. There's that part of the design of the building, which really gets into the details of the building itself, the built portion of the building, and then there's the aesthetic quality of the design, what it looks like and feels like from your experience. When you're looking at the building envelope, there are a couple of key points that really need to be focused on. One is to insulate the walls and the roof and the foundation better, more insulation. And then while you're insulating better, you also need to tightly seal your envelope so you prevent air leakage. That's really air leakage is really, that's one of the worst things you have. You insulate better and then you have lots of gaps. That insulation is not really, it's not doing the work that it can do. So you need to insulate really well. And you don't have to, get it to the highest level. We can talk about passive house and passive house standards. If people are interested, this is the sort of the highest level of energy efficiency. And you can just, Google passive house and you'll get a lot of information about it. You don't have to go to that level. You can just do a lot better than what the standard is in most cases, and then work on sealing that envelope better so you don't have air leaks. And then combined with that, you'll want to install better performing windows that are just better insulated and install them properly so you don't have, gaps around the windows also, because this is very common as well. You have poorly installed windows and then great. Once again, you got a better product, but you're not getting the performance out of that product. When you do these things, you will have a much tighter sealed envelope. And then when you put in the proper mechanical systems, and again, for that next level up, you'll want to include a mechanical system that has what's called an ERV, which is energy recovery ventilation. This is going to cycle fresh air through your house or your apartment 24 hours a day. So regardless of the environment that you live in, if it's hot, if it's really cold, you don't need to open a window to have fresh air coming into your house constantly. And it's filtering the air and it's bringing fresh air in, again, 24 hours a day. So you have this tightly sealed envelope. You're not going to have cold pockets and hot pockets. It's all going to be a very consistent temperature, and you're going to have fresh airflow that's filtered. So you're going to have a more comfortable environment, in a more healthy environment. And I think that these are two of the key points that are very important to understand when you're designing like this, right? It's not just about driving down your energy costs, which is great. You'll pay less monthly for energy usage, but you will be more comfortable and have a healthier environment that you're living in. And if you compare that to a lot of the unhealthy environments that people are living in, this is a huge difference. So much of existing construction is just, full of materials that are constantly off-gassing, where there's mold inside walls that people are not aware of. And literally people's homes are making them sick. There's actually a syndrome that exists as a result of this. It's called SBS, Sick Building Syndrome. This is what you get if you're living in a building that's literally making you sick. And everyone knows about this because you go over someone's house and, then, you start sneezing or your nose is running after you leave, or maybe it's a relative or a friend or something. You're like, I don't know what was going on with that place. Definitely everyone's experienced this. And there are just a lot of buildings out there that people react to very negatively from a health standpoint. So this is about the built environment, right? How you can build the building better so that it's more comfortable and more healthy. And when you combine that with really thinking about how the building looks and feels, and really consider the end user, whether it's a rental building or a for purchase kind of condo building or a single family house, what is that end user experience like, and how does it improve someone's life? What's the quality of the space? How is someone using the space? And this is from the entrance of the building or the house all the way down to, all the details and the details of the design that make it work better and look and feel better as well. And these are things that we can consider when we're building, in addition to that built environment. So those things can be done simultaneously.
Can you give us an example of building components that look better and perform better, or have some trade-off that you need to make a decision maybe about?
Yes, I can. I can tell you, maybe give you sort of an average example, right? And that would just be to say, if you go to some typical suppliers for materials like Home Depot or Lowe's, and you look at the kind of kitchen cabinets and the toilets and other fixtures that they have, that it may look like they have a very wide selection when in fact they actually do not. And often, in fact, the selection of materials and products that places like this have are not really that inexpensive. They may appear inexpensive, but in fact, they're not so inexpensive because they may be very poorly made and they might not last very long, or there are other products that are better designed that have this and better manufactured that are the same price that are available on the market. So it takes just more time looking at what it is that you need for your building, right? And also thinking about how the materials all work together. You know, what kind of floor are you installing? What's the kitchen what do the kitchen cabinets look like? What's the countertop material? What are the appliances? How do these things all fit together? And then consider that within the space itself. Are the rooms proportioned in a way that makes sense so that they're really usable? Do you have nice sized windows that are positioned in the right way based on the site of the building itself to provide the best experience for someone living in the apartment, right? And same with thinking about how you design a bathroom and the spaces between the rooms. You need to think about all these details and really take some time and study them and look at all the materials together. It's just a process. There's a design process to consider. And if you take that time and put in that kind of consideration, it's not just about spending more money on the materials. It's about the approach to what the product is that you're creating and thinking through all the details and looking at them all together and getting a sense of what the quality is once you put everything together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the package that has to fit all together properly, right?
Yes, and this is where people I just give you a little of an example to it in terms of understanding the process, right? Design professionals know because they've done it for so long that you can't actually see how something looks, what something looks like until you actually get some sense of what it actually looks like, right? So the ideal way to see what something looks like before you build it is to mock it up. Get the actual materials and look at them together, and ideally look at them in the space that they're going to be installed in, right? It's
Yeah.
too common. It's generally very common for people to think they can visualize it or they can conceptualize it and think they know what it's going to look like. But it's once you go through the process a number of times and you thought you understood what it was going to look like, and then you build it and it doesn't quite look the way you thought it did. And this is where studying the materials together and the finishes and really mocking them up and really taking a look at them will give you a lot more to evaluate. You just need more information to evaluate and to take time and add a few steps into the process to do that. And now these days, there's a lot of easy ways to generate visualizations. If someone's trying to do this themselves, they can find people online, Fiverr or Upwork that can do renderings with existing materials. I'm not sure AI is quite there yet, but I'd recommend getting someone else so far, but it's easy to get some, fairly quick visualizations once you have some materials. And I always recommend have them done with a few different variations. So you have some things to compare. And then you have more information to evaluate. Does this look better than that? Does a darker palette look better than a lighter palette? Where do we sit in between? And then you're really looking at something and it gives you an opportunity to make better decisions about, what it is that you're actually using. And again, it's not the price of those materials or those fixtures. It's how they all work together.
Yeah, yeah. And you probably, I think you might have some pictures that we can look at
Oh
that we
yes, yes, yes. I would love to show you some
okay.
photographs here of the project that we discussed last. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, you should be able to do that.
Here we go. I'm going to run through these quickly. Are you seeing are you seeing it? It says the Josephine.
Coming up. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, this is a condominium building, so we have with my marketing team, they've designed a logo and a logo mark for the building, so the building gets more branded. If it's just a single house or a smaller building, it's not necessary, but certainly for multifamily, it's definitely it makes a big difference because it starts to tell the story about what the building is and what it's about. So it was a two lot assemblage, and I'm just gonna run through these quickly, and you can kind of see the building going up. This is just after the demo, the site's cleared. It goes a little quickly because obviously this didn't happen that quickly, but you're trying to already seeing some of the form work and the concrete work. This is a concrete superstructure building, 5 floors, and this is the project is in Brooklyn, New York. We have front balconies with curves. This gives you a sense of the whole structure. That's up to the roof minus the penthouse. From a distance here, the rear of the building, starting to put the insulation in and frame it out. Now we have the windows in place, um, windows and insulation. Here's an interior shot. This is mostly finished without the kitchen. There's a kitchen in this apartment. Really nice view of the city through the windows, which aren't resolved here, but really beautiful view. A little further development. This also shows the brickwork on the right side. Gives you a little, let me get some more sun on this. Another interior shot. We have one apartment that has a 17.5 foot wide, four section window door system, which is just amazing. Um,
It, point out wherever there's the energy features too, if you would.
Yeah, well, so all the windows in the building are all triple pane UPVC
Cool.
windows.
Okay. Yeah.
They're highly energy efficient. There's insulation on the exterior walls. It's a block, concrete with block. Again, we were talking about this a little offline. With some of the requirements in New York City, they're a little bit conflicting because you have to build fully non-combustible buildings, which can make energy code achieving higher efficiency a little bit more difficult. So we try to pack the insulation in where we can, and then use the most energy efficient windows. Here you see the almost complete facade. Here, let me just go one more. I think we have the complete facade here. And then we get a better, yeah, here's a better shot. So it's a brick on the right side, and then this is covered. This left side, where the balconies exist, is tiled, and then is this custom railing that I had manufactured in China. It's a very unique woven mesh material, and as you can see, it just reflects the light in a really wonderful way, which you also see from the interior inside the apartments. So you get this beautiful quality of light sort of glistening off the railing while you're inside the apartments, and that changes throughout the course of the day as the light's hitting it. Here's a nice shot from a distance.
I
Um,
never would have guessed that. Yeah. Interesting.
yeah, so I mean, these are all things that you can kind of think about in terms of what you get, because obviously spaces look different, in different lighting conditions,
Oh
and those are
yeah.
important considerations as well. Lighting is something that's often an afterthought, and I would really highly recommend people consider lighting as early as possible, and what the quality and the effect of the lighting is, whether it's daylight, from daylight to artificial light. It's such an important part of the experience of a space.
Right.
And
Well,
here we have
so
some
and
exterior lighting just to following up on
that's
that
beautiful.
statement,
Yeah, that's
which
nice.
makes the
Yeah.
building look really nice in the evening. It lights up the brick really nicely. And I've got some interior shots. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. We staged one apartment, so this is the model unit that was staged. living room, kitchen. This is a fairly compact two-bedroom. A lot of time was spent detailing the kitchen, but none of the materials that were used for the kitchen were really that expensive. Fairly standard cabinets, just a lot of attention to detail on the design. We used Fisher Paykel refrigerators, and the rest of the appliances are an Italian manufacturer, Bertazzoni. Um, Tried to integrate as much as possible in the most compact way. I think the kitchens came out really nicely. Um, Bedroom, we use these slotted diffusers. There's a, LED light in this groove. So we have this reveal on the ceiling. Again, just
Right.
trying to think through all these details, floating vanities. Also, the we use wall-mounted toilets. I really like keeping the floor clean with nothing sitting on it. It makes it, the space feel a little bit bigger. It's also easier to clean the floor if you don't have to reach around anything. Oh, here we go. Here's the before shot. So it
Oh, wow.
take you kind of full circle. So these are the two buildings that we demolished. I'll go back to the living room shot to end it on. So there's the full circle.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Well, yeah, and so your takeaway again is to, well, you go ahead, you say it.
Just returning to where we were at the beginning, my thesis is that design drives value, and with new construction projects, we can build the housing of tomorrow with the means and methods that we have today. We just need to think through how to do it and focus our attention on actually delivering that kind of product. And it can be done now. And that type of housing will serve everyone better. It will serve all stakeholders better, from the end user, from the people living in it, to people that own it, whether it's the end user or whether it's an investor that owns the property as a rental property. You'll have a much longer life cycle. You'll have less repair costs. You'll just have a better product that will last better and will perform better, will be more comfortable and more healthy for the long term.
And we were talking before recording a bit about the properties in the Catskills that you're working on, and got talking about power and whatnot, because right now there's a big snowstorm going on up there, right?
Yes, yes, yes. We did get about a foot of snow here in New York, and there's a little more upstate. Uh,
Right. So we were
Definitely.
talking about, like, I'm
And
in Florida. If I have to buy a generator for backup, what do you guys do? And if you even have to worry about it. And so tell the people what you told me. It's
Well, again,
interesting.
if we're focused on building meeting passive house requirements for the houses that we're building upstate. And one really interesting point to note when you build like that is, let's say you're living in a passive house and it's really cold out and your power goes out, right? And you don't even have any backup power. The temperature inside your house will, because the house is so tightly sealed and so well insulated, it will take days for it to drop down to a point, maybe even a week, to the point where you're no longer comfortable. The house will just hold the heat because you don't have air gaps, you don't have air leakage. So you're going to maintain, you might lose 1 degree a day, 1 or 2 degrees maximum a day. So you'll have plenty of time to restore power and return your mechanical systems so that you can reheat the house. You're just not going to be stuck at a point where the power goes out and you're freezing all of a sudden overnight, and there's nothing you can do about it. A situation that I've actually been in at a point in my life, and it wasn't great. So again, if you build a better product, it will just perform better on all levels.
Right. And I can tell you from my experience, having now done some flipping of mobile homes that are notoriously full of gaps and things,
Right, right,
that,
right,
yes, oh, makes a huge difference when you've got a properly sealed house and whatnot. 'Cause yeah, I've been in older homes a lot where just older homes have a lot of that.
right. Oh
But
yeah, yeah. I mean, you look back 100 years ago, there wasn't insulation used. So,
Yeah,
there's a
right.
lot of work that needs to be done even on those properties. But I think in a lot of cases we need to look and think about, what really makes the most sense from a cost benefit standpoint. I mean, there are some older properties that just really don't make sense to retrofit. But there are some that definitely make perfect sense to retrofit, and there's some great developments that are being done to retrofit buildings better so that they
Right.
can
Adaptive reuse is huge now.
achieve right skinning buildings with more insulation, and then being able to replace the windows with better windows, even in some cases while people are still living in the buildings.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a lot that's possible today. It's a cost benefit analysis, but again, if you're building a new building, you can start thinking about these things before you do any part of the construction.
Do you do consulting for people to help them to figure out how they should do things?
I'm always happy to talk to people and discuss different ideas. It's not something that I do from a fee-based standpoint. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about some of this thinking. So if anyone is interested in reaching out and contacting me that has questions or is thinking through something that they're working on, I'm happy to have a conversation because I would love to, help anyone that's also, kind of shares similar interests and goals. So please reach out.
Okay. Very good. Well, it's funny too. Just a couple days ago, I was interviewing a guy that specializes in doing developments for people that are concentrated in the renewables. So I'll have to share you that information of who
Okay,
he is.
fantastic. Yeah, love to
But
connect.
yeah, well, very good. So tell people how they can reach you. Oh,
You
wait.
can
Before
reach
that, I
me.
have to ask you if there's a pivotal person or event that brought you to where you are today or that is driving you towards a goal.
Yes, yeah, great, great. I mentioned someone different last time, but on this podcast, I want to refer my partners that I'm working on the passive houses upstate, Hillary Paget and Anthony Harrington of PH Design. It's an architecture firm here in New York City, and the focus of their practice is on designing and building passive houses. And I am just always impressed with their passion for the work that they're doing and their focus on achieving the best results. We've really solved a lot of problems together that often don't seem solvable.
Repeat their names, Hillary and who?
Hillary Paget and Anthony Harrington of PH Design. If you Google
Okay.
PH Design in New York City, you'll find them.
Well, so you and I will coordinate on if you're going to tell them that you nominated them or I'll tell them you nominated them. So
Okay,
we'll see
okay.
if they'll come on the show because like we do
Fantastic.
with our local legends and pivotal people series, if they come on the show, they'll get promoted and people will know that they are pivotal people. And then they'll get
Great.
a lapel pin that says that too. So
All right. Fantastic.
yeah,
Fantastic.
super
Um,
good.
yes, you were asking me that last question of where people can reach me. So
Yes, please.
you can go to the URL designdrivesvalue.com. Again, that's designdrivesvalue.com. And from there, you can download my short ebook called, about the driving value. Um, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's Aaron Yassin. Just search Aaron Yassin, Yassin on LinkedIn. I'm the only one there, so be easy to find. And feel free to send me a message on LinkedIn or shoot me an email after you go to designdrivesvalue.com. And I'm always happy to connect.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you being here. We
Great
will
coming
put
back,
all
Ginny.
that in the
Always,
show notes.
oh, great. Always nice to see you.
Likewise.